Good afternoon. Welcome to the latest View from a Bridge video from Air Group to keep members and non-members fully up to date on what's going on out there in the world of financial services for older consumers. I'm delighted today to be joined by Jacqueline Berry, Managing Director of My Care Consultant and Carebox. Jacqueline's with us today really just to give you an update of what the market's doing in regards to care. If you think care doesn't affect me, it does if you're dealing with older consumers. Statistically, we're in the eye of a storm which is making the care market change. We all know we had a challenging social care environment before this crisis. It's only got more challenging. And so Jacqueline, as one of the leading industry experts in the care field, can bring us up to date with that. So Jacqueline, welcome to the View from a Bridge video. Tell me about Carebox.
Thank you, Stuart. Yeah, thanks, Stuart. Always a pleasure to talk to you and the Air team. Thanks for that introduction. I think before I move on to answer your question about Carebox specifically, I wanted to provide an overview for the viewers today around what's happening in social care in respect of the government in the last sort of 10 to 14 days linked to COVID-19, that dreaded word we all keep hearing. But there have been some dramatic changes which dovetail quite neatly into Carebox, which is our online information support tool. So firstly, there was a coronavirus bill 2020, which was passed on the 26th of March. Part of that bill included the sort of social care and public services and options for temporary changes in respect of how local authorities can deliver their services to consumers in need of care during the pandemic. Now, in order for those changes to come into practice, the government had to officially pass something known as an instrument. And we were sort of expecting maybe a couple of weeks or even months down the line when this pandemic unravels, maybe we would see that instrument implemented. It actually came just a few days after the coronavirus bill. It was implemented by Matt Hancock on the 31st of March. And what that essentially means in practice is that local authorities can bypass certain duties within the Care Act 2014. So by which I'm talking about carrying out care assessments and financial assessments and putting together care plans for people. Now, they're expected to act as normal for as long as they can, but if they're struggling to deliver services, that's where they can implement what's known as the easement, which means they can essentially set up services without following that framework. So it's really important that advisors and clients understand A, what the changes are, and B, how that impacts in practice. And we have developed a new COVID-19 support page specifically relating to social care policy and services around what you need to know, and that's being updated all the time as we come across new information. That dovetails quite neatly into your question around Carebox, Stu, which essentially is our online support resource for financial advisors. It is subscription based, but we have made the COVID-19 page free and accessible to everybody. We don't feel it's appropriate to add any sort of commercial link to that. Of course, it's about supporting people in these times. A bit about Carebox. The idea behind Carebox is that the team at My Care Consultant have brought together our experience, qualifications, knowledge and experience of working with financial advisors and consumers. And we've put that together and produced an online support tool on care and related matters that essentially helps advisors deliver a joined up care advice service to clients and family members, whether they do this in-house or outsource. So Carebox provides the answer to lots of different questions. For example, what's the latest rate of attendance allowance? And how do I ensure that I'm being discharged from hospital appropriately? And will I be paying for my care? And if so, what are the options to do that? They're the sort of questions that will be landing on advisors' desks, will be coming up in meetings or phone calls now, we're in this time, and advisors can refer to Carebox to get those answers, as well as to keep their information up to speed if they're doing care advice more regularly.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Jacqueline. I know we've had some brilliant feedback from members that are already subscribing to Carebox. It's always good to hear it from the horse's mouth. They find it an invaluable tool. And I think for those advisors who will be raising potential queries to raise money on for example, on equity release, one of the biggest growing areas for requests for funding for equity release raising funds is for care in the home, and where one partner has had a serious maybe diagnosis of dementia and is going into care, and families are concerned about where their funding options are. Can they get local authority support? What are the sort of expectations on care in the home, and what's the means tested allowance? All these sort of questions. So rather than advisors thinking, A, they're not going to get those questions, you will, and B, what do I do? My God, I need to train up to be a care specialist. You don't. The point of your service, and where the feedback has been absolutely blindingly good, is that you will take that heavy lifting off the advisor. You will deal with the consumers and outline a full report-based process on where their funding options are, and Carebox just reinforces all of those resources and puts those tools to the hand. So I guess for the advisors that are listening and watching this, you've outlined, or if you can outline the commercials and the special agreement that we have for those members that already know, a very popular reward scheme, and we've interlinked that reward scheme with Carebox to offer a very special offer for those subscribing to Carebox. Perhaps you'd like to expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Stu. Yes. So firstly, importantly, we are offering 1 month's free trial to anybody. So all we need is an email address and a name, and you can access Carebox for 1 month. We wouldn't expect anybody to sign up without being able to see it first. And following that, if advisors want to become ongoing members, we have agreed a special deal with AIR so that all AIR members can access Carebox, and they will receive 250 Unity points if they subscribe each month, so per month. And on the other hand, if they were to buy an annual license to Carebox, they would receive 3,000 Unity points for that annual subscription. And in terms of costs, we have different options available. We have an individual license for one user, which is £14.99 a month or £150 a year. And we also have group rates available for up to 10 users. Likewise, we have corporate rates for much bigger companies. So hopefully AIR members will, once they've had the free trial, take us up on that deal that we've agreed exclusively with AIR.
That'd be brilliant. Thank you for clearly explaining how that operates. Any further information you require on that, please message us on airsourcing.co.uk, and the chat functionality is there. The team can help you. There's also a series of uploads that we're making available that's either already posted up on the new airsourcing.co.uk COVID-19 information hub and business update hub, and directly with my care consultant. Jacqueline, you recently mentioned to me a series of webinars that my care consultant has scheduled for later on in April, specifically around Carebox. Can you update listeners and viewers around those webinars and the importance of registering for those?
Yes, thank you, gladly. So we have arranged 4 different webinar times to suit advisors to tune in at their leisure. We have 9 AM and 11 AM on the 28th of April, and we also have 1 PM and 3 PM on the 30th of April. All of those will be the same session. They're 20 minutes long. We have a sign-up link available, which AIR will be publicising shortly. So all you need to do is click the sign-up link and enter your email address, and you'll be scheduled for one of those webinars. The reason that we are running these webinars is to essentially give users an opportunity, advisors an opportunity to see what Carebox has to offer firsthand. We're doing a live demonstration of the system. We're going to show what's in there, how to navigate round, and also how to get the maximum benefit from it. Even if you're not advising on care, you know, you're going to have clients that land on your desk, if not already, increasingly so in the future, as we're seeing our increasing aging demographic and more people living with chronic related illnesses, sadly. So it's something that does need to be addressed. Whether then you decide to do that in-house or outsource to a specialist like MCC or another advisor who does everything, that's completely your prerogative. But the webinars are about explaining what Carebox is, how to navigate, and how to get the best from it. And I think one final point before I hand back to Stu, one of the things we pride ourselves at My Care Consultant is our speed of response in bringing to our members up-to-date information, and whether that be legislative, regulatory, linked to COVID-19, for example, on what's actually going on in practice and what advisors need to know and how they can communicate that to their clients. That is the purpose of Carebox. And I suppose one example of this is the speed by which we created our COVID-19 support page. The government brought in these new changes on the 31st of March. Within 48 hours, we had a new free access area of Carebox ready to go for our members. And we do that every single month in Carebox, new content. We refresh content that's out of date. We're constantly evolving, so we're always asking members for feedback. And lastly, we're really excited to share with AIR members today, exclusively, our forthcoming launch of our new consumer guide, which is a guide for advisors to use, to share with clients and family members. It's designed to be a balance between communicating important information, but not overwhelming the client. So essentially, it's the first port of call when somebody has a care need. And then once the client has digested that, then they can revert back to the advisor for further advice, which again can then be provided in-house or outsourced. So I think one final point on this, we do react to requests from advisors. That guide has been something that's been asked for universally for months. Can we have something to give to clients? We've now got it ready. It's launching later this month. So if you can join us on the webinars, then we'll tell you more about that as well and how to access that. So that's it from me, Stu. Thanks very much.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Jacqueline. I understand that can be dual branded, white labeled, but again, you'll explain that more on the webinars, I guess.
Absolutely, Stu. Advisors can put their company details on that or leave that blank, and we're also arranging for hard copies to be available as well.
That's absolutely fabulous. Great. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us for this short update on some of the services available from My Care Consultant and Carebox in a growingly important market space that is not going to go away once the COVID-19 challenges are behind us. The social care challenges are very much still in front of us. So Jacqueline Berry, Managing Director of My Care Consultant, thank you very much for joining us, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. All the information from references that both Jacqueline and I have made today are fully available on airsourcing.co.uk, and click on the COVID-19 business update page for further information. It'll either be already there or additional stuff will be uploaded in the next day or two. So Jacqueline, once again, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.